Megan.
Hello.
I'm very excited to talk to you about your new book, You're Not Special.
I'm excited to virtually be there to talk about it.
Right? What are you doing like to count down the days till the book is released? Anything special or?
Oh, like feeling like I'm constantly gonna have diarrhea. Being very nervous. There's anything in particular except obviously posting on social. It was cool because yesterday we've got like a private Facebook group for our podcast, my podcast called Don't Blame Me, which is like an advice podcast. And one of the girls in the group ended up getting her book yesterday because some retailers like ship it out early. So It doesn't come out until May 5th, but she ended up getting it. I forget what's today. She got April 28th. And I was like, oh my God. So that was really cool. So
it's been cool to like get the book.
Yeah. Who's like not on my team, who's like my manager, who has to be like, oh, it's great. I was like,
oh my gosh, it's so exciting though.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. And for you grew up on social media, your whole life has been basically people feel what you feel and know every emotion you go through. Since you kind of now wrote about it, will people see a different side of you in the book they haven't seen online?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing that's crazy about it is like, it's like almost, maybe I don't even know what the final page count is, but it is like almost 300 pages. And I don't talk about the stuff that I talk about in the book online. And I think I'm so open online that I think people are going to be surprised. They're like, wait, I feel like you don't feel like someone who's really closed off and doesn't talk about stuff. You feel really open and vulnerable. So the fact that the book is that, but more, and it doesn't overlap any stories. And I recorded the audiobook a couple weeks ago, and one of my best friends, who's also the producer of my podcast, she was the director of the audiobook, and she was like, so we work together, we're friends, we work on this podcast together where we're super vulnerable. She's like, I didn't know a single one of the stories that was in this. And she was like, and even she was like, and she knew my boyfriend before we started dating. And so she's like, I even knew how you guys got together, but I didn't know like this whole extended version of the story. So it was cool to like someone who I'm close with was like, oh wow, this is still like, big and different for me too, which is cool.
So has your boyfriend and your family read it?
Nobody's read it except for my team. I think my best friend has read a couple chapters. Again, the stuff that I wanted her clarification, because she's like she's literally the only person whose real name is in the book. And she's like a huge majority of all of my like friend experiences and everything. She's there for all of it. So she's read a huge chunk of it. Actually, maybe not even a huge chunk, probably like 3 or 4 chapters. And then my boyfriend has read the chapter that he's in and then part of the other one, but I don't even know if he read the whole chapter or he just like skimmed it. But there's a fun fact, which I don't even think I've said before, that he writes 2 little sections in the book. So like I say something from my perspective, and then there's like this little part where like he tells the same thing from his.
I love that.
Yeah. And that was probably the hardest thing to do for the audiobook, because my stuff sounds like me. Like I originally had wanted a co-author because I was like, writing a book is really hard, which it was really hard, but my publishers were like, nobody sounds like you can't have a co-author, like it's gonna be bad. And I was like, fine. So then, and he's like such a, I don't know, I talk like a millennial. It's like lots of Hillary Duff references, and he's such like an intellectual. So I was reading his part for the audiobook, and I was like, so then I actually made him read it, because I was like, dude, I can't pronounce half of these words. Like, I don't know who you're trying to like flex on, like vocabulary wise. Like, I can't.
It's not me.
I was like, this is so hard. But yeah, it's fun.
All of a sudden there's gonna be like in the audiobook just a deep man's voice.
Oh, yes.
Like, what the heck?
I literally am like, and down to my boyfriend Mott's tell his part. So I don't know if that's gonna make it into the final audiobook, but I hope it does, because I definitely am stumbling over.
Yeah. And you said that your best friend's name is actually in the book.
Yeah, only one. I think probably 10 names in total, between 5 and 10 of people's real names. And it's everyone who has like flattering stories about them. Nothing really involving like, illegal stuff when you're 15, 16. And then my best friend, who I got like her approval for everything. And also everyone on the internet knows that she's my best friend and has been my best friend forever. I was like, here's the thing, dude, like I could change your name, but like everybody's gonna know. Yeah. And so the other people I had to ask if it was like, and not even, you don't necessarily have to ask, you just have to give a heads up to be polite. And so if you want to use a real name, anyone who you feel comfortable asking for a heads up. So it was like a lot of guys that I like made out with one time in high school, or that like were really cute in high school, and I was giving them like, oh, I should have gone out with you when you asked me. So it's like the cool props. And so I had to like ask all these guys, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to buy your book. Like, thank you so much. I'm like, you're welcome. So that was funny. And then I think one of my best friends, one of my other like guy best friends, he's in it, but I felt bad because I was talking to him recently, and he was like, so like, am I like in your book a lot? I was like, I love you, dude, but like, we didn't like, there was nothing really crazy or like debauchery that happened regarding all of this stuff. So yeah, it was a weird thing to ask people.
Are you afraid of anybody reading it?
Oh my God, I'm terrified. I'm like low-key pretty stoked that I don't have to go on a book tour now and I just get to stay inside, because I'm like, oh, I would be so afraid for like those people that I don't know where they ended up. We're not friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like bad situations and having them show up. So I'm pretty relieved with that. But yeah, I'm so nervous. Obviously I'm nervous for my family to read it. That's probably like the one that's most like, ugh. But I'm definitely, I think the absolute, more than that, probably people from college. And like low key, I think the one that I'm most worried about is like the guy who dumped me when I was in college. And like, It's really not even that big of a deal in the whole book, but I don't know why I feel so weird about it.
Yeah.
And then my high school boyfriend, I don't know why. Like there's so many ones that are so much
feelings.
worse.
When you get into feelings, it's like me like posting a pic like the guy that I used to talk to likes it. I'm like, what does he think of it? Oh my God. It's like, did he like look at it? Did he double tap? Did he like, what was he doing? Like, and it's like, you haven't talked to him in 2 years. You liked him in like,
yes,
you guys aren't anything anymore, but I still care about how he feels.
That's literally how I feel. And like my high school boyfriend is still like friends with some of my like now high school friends that were still like my hometown friends and all of that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, if I go back to our tiny little town of like 5,000 people and I like see you, which I will, like, this is so
he's gonna be like, can you sign?
Yeah,
my copy of the book.
No, but it's wild because his new girlfriend looks almost identical to how I looked in high school, which was a specific look, like the glasses, the curly hair. It was
a whole thing.
So I'm like, you have a type?
Aside from the book, how have you been keeping busy, during self-isolation and everything like that?
Puzzles. Turns out I love puzzles more than anything in the entire world. I am addicted. I did one. I literally can show you. It's like right over here. This one.
You did do a puzzle. I like it.
It's 2,000 pieces. It was my first puzzle I've ever done. 2,000 pieces. I was staying up to like 4 a.m. every single night. My boyfriend, like, he got an Xbox and I got puzzles. And I am more addicted to puzzles than he is to Xbox. Like, he's being crazy. Like, you need to go to bed. And I'm like, I can't. I need to finish puzzling.
There's one more piece I need to find.
But the worst part is that there are 2 pieces that are missing. And I have looked underneath the table. I've looked literally everywhere. And it has been completed for over 2 weeks. And today is the day that I was like,
move it.
I was like, I have to, because I got new ones. I was like, I'm pissed that it was without those pieces. But I think that's probably how, and then I recently started vlogging again, which I think is, I don't know, I didn't really think about it being super full circle until someone made a comment saying like, oh, you had mentioned a couple, like I think probably like last year or 2 years ago that you're pretty like much done with vlogging and it like left a bad taste in your mouth. And you just like had a not great experience. And it's weird because I talk about that in the book, and the book is now coming out. And now I'm like, oh, and I'm feeling more comfortable and okay vlogging again. And I was like, oh, it kind of just feels like, I don't know, you put all your feelings in a bottle and you like set it out to sea. And I was like, oh, it does kind of feel like I'm starting over again, and that people are going to like know why I had like a issue with vlogging before. And so I think, yeah, that's been the other, and working out from inside. I got a weighted hula hoop. It's a good time. Really nothing else.
There's not much else to do.
There's not.
It's like if someone had told me like 6 months ago, or like had told you 6 months ago, like you'd be locked up in your apartment doing puzzles, your book's gonna come out, and your boyfriend's gonna buy an Xbox. You'd be like,
yeah.
During a pandemic.
And I would spend like 2 hours debating if we should get a Peloton bike when I spent so much time like making fun of that commercial. And I was like, whoa, how the tables have turned. We didn't get one though.
You have one?
No, we didn't get one.
Oh, you didn't get one.
My best friend's she's getting one. I think it's getting delivered this week. And I was like, oh my God, tell me all about it. I'm so jealous. But I also like, I don't know how I would get into spinning at home because I like that it's dark when you go to like a spin class and it's that whole vibe. And I just think like am I just going to like turn all the lights off in a room and just like ride a bike? Like it feels weird to do it at home.
Full disclosure, I was the girl that ordered the Peloton during the pandemic.
Is it great though?
It's amazing. And I turned off all the lights and shut the shades.
Oh my God. Okay. So it's not weird. It's not weird if that's how you do it.
It's not weird at all. It's amazing. Okay. It literally, I've never sweat more from a workout in my entire life. Say anything else about your book or anything like that, you're more than welcome to. I know it's in general, but.
Yeah. It comes out May 5th. It's called You're Not Special. You can get it digital ebook if you're not wanting to wait for delayed shipping. We also did an audiobook. It's available literally everywhere. All of the links that I have on my socials are all domestic links. And so I've been trying to collect as many from like different countries. So if anybody has links to my book in a different country and you want to send it to me, I will post it on Instagram. Otherwise, if you are not located in the US, just Google your country, where you are, and then the book name, and you can find it. But I'm really nervous. And if anybody reads it, hopefully people read it. Don't tell me if you dislike it. Just lie to me or say nothing at all because my ego cannot take it.
Noted. Well, Megan, thank you so much for talking to us. And
thank you.
I can't wait. I'm going to order it on Amazon. Just
Yay.
let me know. You got me with the You're Not Special. I was like, okay, give me the book.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.